with GRL. We'll be doing commentary on their Division 5 race at Kota. And we'll have a pretty full grid, currently 19 drivers. Potentially awaiting one more, a few reserves on the grid this evening. So last week was Mexico, where Woody pulled out a first place, who will not be racing this evening, but I believe in his place will be AJ Reeve, who is probably one of the drivers I'm more familiar with on the grid in the Haas. Very aggressive driver, is capable of showing a lot of pace, but occasionally does lack a little bit of consistency. Be interesting to see what he can pull out this evening, and I believe last season's champion Fanta, who was able to pick up a P2 last week in the absolute track of Kick Sauber. But it will be a good race for sure. Kota's usually one where there isn't too many problems after the first few laps, but we're not going to rule out a safety car regardless. But we will just go over a few of the standings here. So for the championship, we've got Bray and Core currently in first place with 48 points, followed by Littim with 37, tying that with Tulo. Just behind him is D&B Super Skills, GRL Flasher, Criminal YT. And I'm pretty sure that Red Bull will be leading the constructors. But a good race should be had by most people involved here this evening. Yes, D. Sommers is familiar with AJ Reeve. It is kind of like that, yes. Div 4 is starting. Have fun. Good luck in your race, Indian Goat. I hope it goes well. My not former teammate, but I've raced with him a few times. He's got a lot of pace, and I hope Division 4 goes well for him. But appears we're running a little bit behind here in Division 5. So I believe Kryn will have, according to the information I've been given, Kryn will have a quali ban this evening. No, wait, no, he doesn't. Alright. I'm P17 in the standings now. Yeah, it's looking good. As far as how up-to-date they are. Oh, I didn't have anywhere near the most up-to-date one because I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm actually an idiot. Silly me. This is the problem. I really do need to get way more on it. The accent will come once the race starts. I'll do the regular accent for quali. And once the race starts, I'll be bringing out the bit of an American accent, you know what I mean, coming into turn 1. But Fanta currently leading the championship. I do fear that fans are starting to get bored with the Fanta domination, obviously coming off the back of a win last season. Bray and Core in P2. And I believe that should put Racing Bulls in first place for the constructors. And personal friend Woody sits P9. Very good for him, considering that he has only recently, I believe at the start of the season was when he started doing sim racing. So it's good to see him performing well. Obviously he won last week in Mexico and will not be able to attend this evening. And in his place will be AJ Reeve. And yeah, so it should be a very good one. Scones. It's coming in the race. It's coming in the race. All right. I'll do it. I promise. Until I'm told to change it, I'll do it in the race. Oh, man. So any of the drivers currently in the chat able to give me a little bit of insight on who to keep an eye out on, whether they, you don't have to say who's who, but who's a quick driver and who causes chaos. So in another league that I'm in, there's a driver who I've nicknamed Osama bin Limedin. His name's F1 Lime. And you're pretty much guaranteed a safety car if he's on track. The only thing that's not guaranteed is who he will be assassinating. And that wasn't for the accident, that was for the standings. Yeah, absolutely rookie mistake. Schoolboy error on my part. So if any driver is able to provide a little bit of insight into GRL Division 5, requires drivers with pace and drivers that cause a bit of chaos. So I believe Eat Giles is, the team principal for Sauber, so him representing the team that he's in charge of. Gotta be embarrassing if he does manage to finish ahead of Fanta, but obviously Fanta does have a lot of pace. We can see just by his results, he remains pretty consistently far up the scoreboard with 2 wins so far this season. And considering he missed the first 2 races, being the championship leader by 10 points is surely an impressive feat. So now we're getting ready to go into quali. Here's where things will start to get interesting, and we'll see who's got pace. And it's always good to remember that just because you got pace in quali does not translate to race pace. Lime is the biggest ethical danger in F1 24. That is accurate. That is accurate. But he's told me that next season he'll be looking to redeem himself. He almost had a redemption with the Formula 2 series, coming very close to getting a P3, but falling very short, unfortunately. So it is what it is. We'll just do this, and we'll disable my webcam just for the race. Give everybody a nice clear view of everything that's going on. And he screwed up that redemption in May Mystery Month as well. I'm not sure that accident was his fault, though. But he did have a spin not long before I came. Not long before I passed him. Got a couple cars going out. The Haas of Jeremy. The Iceman looks to be first out on track. Keen to get his lap time in the Ferrari. Just behind him, I believe, is F1 Brewster. And then Jeremy. And I think there's a wild card. Is there a wild card for today? I feel like there is. Where's the schedule? Because my friend Michael Louie, who's doing Division 4, said it's preset setups only. This could also set people apart as far as having a bad car, per se, because as most of us who've played the game know, the preset setups are pretty much dog water. Oh, where is the schedule? That'll tell me if there is. What the hell is the schedule? Come on. Private transfers. No. Calendar. There we go. So Kota. Fixed setups only. Any drivers? Interesting to see who has pace on fixed setups only. And Iceman starting his lap now. Along with Reese, but it seems like he's giving Reese a tow. Oh, Iceman bailed out. Obviously, I imagine wanting to prevent any kind of confusion or penalties coming his way, or whether that was just for a little boost down the straight. in order to help Reese out. He's kept it quite tidy through Sector 1. As we come up to the sharp left-hand in Sector 2, which is one that I personally struggle with quite a lot on this track. He's done that beautifully. Does he have a good exit? Maintain a bit of speed down the DRS straight, though. He is managing to keep it looking quite clean. So I believe Rich has retired from the session due to a quali ban. So Brewster, the first to set a time, which is a 133.5. Jeremy coming in lukewarm, half a tenth behind with a 134.06, and Reese with a 133.084. I wonder if that little bit has of a toe from his teammate helped at all, but Criminal blisteringly fast with a 132.9. Brian Core not far behind, only a few hundred separate the two on first and second place. El Calico in the Red Bull. Oop. Quite a bit off the pace, a second behind the current pole sitter. We'll find somebody on a hot lap and go on board. AJ Reeve. I don't know what his pace is going to look like. It's not looking too bad, to be fair. Not quite on the pace of the race leader, but fairly middle of the road time there, just behind his teammate by a half a second. So he's got some improvement to make there. Criminal still sits comfortably. He won. With a 132.9. Brian Core surely able to find about a tenth to knock Criminal off his pole sitting. So we'll find somebody else on a hot lap. Oh, we've got Art F1 coming back into the pits. Civet now. Could potentially have been getting a slight toe from his teammate RJ there. The real question is, does he have the pace? What appeared to be a little bit of locking up there. But is that going to cost him as far as lap time's concerned? BT has retired from the session. He does look rapid coming through Sector 3, but goes way off track. Has not invalidated, but what will the time look like? It's a 133.9. Being a bit of a trend here. Everybody about a second off the pole sitter down here in the midfield. And Fanta has come back into the pits, having not yet submitted a time. But Iceman now setting looking to set his time coming into turn 1. We will follow him for the lap. This little SS section is very fun in a race. Provided nobody tries to go side by side. Otherwise, that it's just chaos unfolding. Nobody really wants to give the space. But as Alonso taught us a few years ago, always you have to leave it a space. He does look to be keeping it fairly neat and tidy. He'll want to be getting a time on that board. Which, provided he doesn't invalidate, he should be able to do here. His ERS is looking healthy coming into the final 2 turns. And he'll set a 133.6, which puts him up to P8. But with it being qualifying and the championship lead as well as Genchi having yet to set a time, anything could happen, and quite a bit of improvement still to happen on a lot of the drivers down here from P10 to P16, or 15 rather. I'm sure they all have a lot of room for improvement. So anything could happen as far as position on the grid. That music's putting me to sleep, if I'm honest. Oh. So Jeremy has a rather massive 1.1 seconds off of pole. But to see himself move up quite a few places, he only needs to find a few tenths. As Genchi setting 134.027, knocking Jeremy down to P12. But we'll see if he's got anything to say about that as he comes out of Sector 2. We'll take a look and see if he's had any improvement on his previous attempt. He is down by 2 tenths. It's not looking good for Jeremy, unfortunately. Coming up to the final 2 corners now. I don't know if he's had enough of an improvement just in the 3rd sector. Not a great time, 6 tenths slower than his previous best. So absolute scenes for Jeremy there. But we'll go with RTF1 coming into 2nd sector now. As he's looking to be keeping it quite tight. ERS is looking healthy for that DRS straight, but he's using a little bit of it leading up to the corner. Is quite a long straight. Ooh, who's that gone around there? Was that Civet? It was Civet who spun on that corner just before the DRS straight. And RTF1 using quite a bit of his ERS on the straight. Will that cost him here in Sector 3? Obviously quite a twisty and turny sector. But definitely a few places it can be used. That seems to be building up quite nicely. Almost up to 50%. And he's invalidated. That is so unfortunate as he's going to dive into the pits as a result of that invalidation. What on earth is going on with Civet? He spun. Now he's off the track. I suspect that may have been to get out of somebody's way, but is that going to affect his lap time having gone off the track like that? So we'll follow him for the lap. And he spun again and damaged his wing. And taken out a signboard. Bro looks to be a menace on track. I imagine he won't be too happy with that. So we'll take a look as Tweaky Scorpion finally able to knock his teammate Kryn off of P1. Now the Alpines have a 1-2 shutout for the start of the race here in Texas. Eat Giles. Not looking too bad in P6. Obviously his driver Fanta sits in P4. Giles needs 3/10 to try and catch up to Reese. I don't know if he's got it in him, though. Whether that's an in-lap, don't know, but El Calico seems to be on a bit of a flyer. And we'll go on board with him for the remainder of his lap, as he's up by just shy of a 10th coming into Sector 3 on his previous best time. A 10th could gain him P6, but he needs a massive improvement to get any higher than that. So I think the race is going to be quite tight between the top 5 drivers, with the exception of Tweaky Scorpion. Bro needs to be nerfed for real, as he's 4/10 ahead of the previous pole sitter. And El Calico does improve just enough to get Giles out of P6. So I think most drivers now probably waiting for that last minute attempt to be made. Interesting to not see another attempt from AJ Reeve. It looks like he'll be coming out now. Genchi and Jeremy both on outlaps, as well as AJ Reeve. Fanta looking to make another attempt now. So, very, very tight race between P2 and P5. Those 4 drivers will be having a hell of a time. Turn 1 could be the decider, though, if Tweaky Scorpion can get away. He seems to have the pace in quali, but will he have the pace in the race? That is the question on everybody's lips here this evening. So Genchi starting his flying lap, as well as Jeremy. Both drivers fairly evenly matched as far as quali pace is concerned, as less than half a tenth separates them. So they'll both be looking to improve their times, and if either driver can find as little as 2/10, they could be up to P10. So Genji has improved by just shy of 2.5 tenths. It'll be interesting to see what Jeremy's improved by, and whether either driver can manage to sneak their way up a few positions. No, that will not be the one for Jeremy, unfortunately. But Genji coming into the last corner now. Will it be enough to see him quite a bit further up, as he goes half a tenth quicker, puts him up to P8. Hell of a lap there from Genji, knocking Art F1 down, who's also going to be making another attempt. We'll take a look at AJ Reeve. Thank you so much for the follow, Sparky Mark Hughes. Much appreciated. As AJ Reeve now makes his way down the DRS straight with not a whole lot of ERS left, down to 10%. Really burning that 7th gear. Is that going to cost him? He's up by 2/100ths. Not left a whole lot of ERS for Sector 3. We'll have to see if he can improve from his current P16 position. We'll need a fairly massive improvement for any kind of meaningful position change here. And he's just gone a little bit wide there. 7/10 slower than his first attempt. Very unfortunate for AJ Reeve there. Beaky Scorpion could be looking to improve on his time, or potentially get his teammate even further ahead. As Kryn is the one in front, but quite a few cars going just alongside each other, with the McLaren seems to be punching the clean air. And Giles just behind, and then Kryn just behind Giles. Followed by SKG Civet, who has invalidated, unfortunately. Very unfortunate qualifying session for Civet this evening. All good. Gutted not to be racing, though. Oh, how come? Something happened? Was it an availability thing? Have you got a race ban? Any teams or drivers that you're supporting this evening? Sucks being a reserve. Yeah, GRL is quite a popular one. The sad thing is there would have been space. There's only 19 drivers on the grid. But I suspect one may... And Kryn with an absolutely gargantuan improvement on his previous time. 8/10 he managed to shave off. And I believe this will be your starting lineup, ladies and gentlemen, unless RJ potentially has anything to say about it as he rounds the final corner. And he does. He's gone from P17 to P14. AJ Reeve, the biggest... I'm not going to say biggest loser, but most unfortunate. I believe this is his debut. But he's not quite had the pace. But also, all drivers, just as a reminder, are using the preset setups. So there you have it. Kryn will be starting us in P1, and it's an Alpine lockout going into turn 1, with Phantom picking up P3, Brian Corwin P4, Reese, Eat Giles, Art F1, El Calico, Genji, Brewster, Iceman, Civet, Jeremy, RJ, Super Skills, Rick, AJ Reeve, Rich, and BT to round out the grid there. So, quite the, I wouldn't say overly eventful, but Iceman's managed to pick up a 5-second penalty by the looks of it. Oh, 5-position penalty. Oh, that's very unfortunate for the Ferrari drivers. D. Sommers says, Scones, notice how you are not on the grid, and AJ Reeve has no pace. Your words, not mine. Especially as I started the season as a full-time driver, then my team owner decided to replace me. Oh, was it Giles? Were you in the Sauber? I need to remind myself that GRL does a formation lap, and it's not lights out and away we go right off the bat. There's a formation lap, and then it's lights out and away we go. No, I was originally in the Haas. Oh, did you get replaced by Woody? Oh, agreed. I take full responsibility for AJ Reeve crashing me out at Zandvoort on Wednesday. No, did he really? No, D. Summers, did he actually crash you out at Zandvoort? No, Jeremy. Oh. I don't think Jeremy was doing too badly. No, this coming Wednesday. Oh, coming up. BTW, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. And obviously I did say for the race I'd be doing the American accent. So, GRL Wednesday, I might. Hi, this is Bray. Well, I appreciate the follow. Let me clear my throat. All right, baby, we're in Texas and we're looking to get the formation lap going any minute now. You know, I'm a big fan of Texas. Big trucks, big steaks, big guns, big women. You know, everything's bigger, better, and badder in Texas. You know what I mean? I'd hate to see a NASCAR on this track, though, because, you know, they only like to turn left. I'd hate to see what a right turn would do to them some bitches. You know what I mean? NASCAR race here. No, see, they only go left. There's a couple right turns on this track, and a couple that go left and right. I'd hate to see Danica Patrick on this track. It'd be absolute chaos, I tell you what. This is Texas, not the hick town in buttfuck nowhere, Alabama scones. Yeah, but I can only do one accent, brother. I can't do a full-time Texas accent, man. I ain't got enough practice on them. You can be from Alabama, in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and love Texas. You know, kind of like if you're from, I don't know, fucking Manchester and you love Scotland, you know what I mean? I guess that would be a possibility. Yeah, I get that, Bray, but it's all about the satire, you know what I mean? Satire and comedy. I'm meant to be portraying a dumb American, you know, kind of like a male Danica Patrick. I do love to see them interviews where Danica Patrick and Jensen Button are next to each other, and he just seems to want to like crawl inside his own asshole and die all the time. In a minute now, we should be good to go for the formation lap, and it should be all Gucci and Vespucci. Second here. There we go. And we're away for the formation lap, and we'll get my ugly face off the camera. All the drivers now looking to get some heat in their tires. So most drivers opting to go for medium tire. And a couple outliers being the Iceman and Rich, as well as BT. Not going with the rest of the sheep, but whether or not that'll pay off for him. Oh, so this is just like how South Africa loves Lesotho and Botswana. Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny you say that because I'm South African and we used to go to Lesotho all the time. Like shit, my dad used to cross the border every day to get there. He lived in South Africa and worked in Lesotho. So it's going to be an Alpine shutout going into turn one. It'll be interesting to see if any team strategy comes of this. Man is saying, fuck it. I can't wait to get to my pit box. Burning the fuck out of them rear tires right there, you know what I mean? Just behind him, Brand Core in the V-carb. Exactly, that's why I said it, brother. Seen that SA flag enough on F124. Yeah, never in front of you, though. Oh my goodness, Fanta almost taking out Rick there. Rick could not be bothered for the formation lap. So all of the drivers now taking their places. Oh my God. The Alpines have managed to phase through two other cars. So by the looks of it, we are just about ready to get going here. So yeah, I was a full-time driver, then a replacement process became a reserve. Being a veteran in GRL, it is frustrating. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I imagine it would be quite frustrating, but you know, anything can happen. You know, another team could pick you up. You know, maybe you show a bit of promise in a reserve position, you know. Make the guys at Haas regret what they've done to you. Join another team, win the championship, you know what I mean? Only once in front of me at Australia. Yep. I ain't got the pace you do, brother. The only time I manage to get ahead of you is if there's chaos and I manage to avoid it. That's the only time I'm faster. All the heat the drivers worked so hard to put into those tires now fading fast. So, Sparky, what was your driver name? Are you the Raikkonen by any chance? Or is that a different division? I think this formation lap might be bugged. I'll suspect you may just be right, sir. Dashboard your game, but don't quit the lobby. This game's so good. Alright. It's lights out and away we stay? Alright. See, this wouldn't happen in NASCAR. Oh, it was a full grid. Act Flasher. But he wasn't there for qualifying, so it's quite a strange one, actually. Ray and Core has left the session. So has Rich. The Iceman has left the session. Reese's gone. Of course, it wouldn't happen for NASCAR. They have rolling starts. Exactly. It's just better, built different. Alright, we're going to go ahead and quit back to the main menu, wait for an invite. And since it's not the race, I can talk normal. That accent's going to get really annoying to do after like the first 5 laps. I can feel it. I can really feel it. Oh, good. Stiff muscles, stiff everything. Not everything. No, I'm Sparky0431. Not in this race, but I'm normally the one who trails around the back all the time when I do race. Did you race at Silverstone? I mean, I'd love to try and reserve for GRL, but I think they usually want me to do commentary more than they want me to actually race. I think there's an abundance of reserves and not enough commentators. Rich, thank you very much for the follows. Did you have a quali ban by any chance? I suspected as much when I saw you retire from when I saw you retire from the session. I can't remember. I think so. Yeah, that was the only other race I think I've done commentary on for Division 5 was Silverstone. Because you readied up early in Mexico. The one thing you're really, really not supposed to do outside of the actual racing is readying up soon. That was the first thing I was told when I started doing sim racing in like January. I was told up and down, never, ever, ever ready up early, ever. I just let somebody else do it now. So I suspect this is going to be tell that to F1 Live. I'm not convinced he was the one who did that. Though he may have been. He swears up and down he doesn't think it was him. It was a silly mistake, but a quali ban. I mean, I guess it's inconveniencing 20 people and potentially having to do a restart, so it's understandable, I guess. I mean, shit, I got obliterated in the season finale, and the dude got, like, I think a 5-second penalty. When Ultra Titan readied up, when he was into, Lime was the only one not loading. Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that was a way you can find out who's done it early. I am so good, third pole of the season. Yeah, you're humble too. Don't know if you noticed that. Top 3 predictions. I think there's going to be a safety car. Ack Flasher is going to be able to capitalize on it, make up 8 positions. I think he's going to finish P12 or better, and he's starting P20. I think Fanta's going to be top 5. I think Civit's going to get a DNF. Or you mean positions on the grid? You know the green bars? Yeah, I know the green bars. Like the loading thing. 100% a safety cut for sure. How many though? I don't know. I'm gonna play it safe and say 2 safety cars. The first one will be in the first 3 laps, and the second one will be like lap 16. As for top 3, I'm not even racing. Neither is Sparky and P3. Like Lime's not even in this league. Where do you think the Alpine end up? I think a 1-2 is too ambitious to hope for. I think one of you, something's going to happen, and you're going to end up placing like 8th. The other one's going to be top 3 for sure. It's just really rare that both drivers in the team. Alpine's both in the top 5, says D. Sommers. I will be fucked over. I love the optimism, Corinne. Come on, you could win. You're starting on pole. It's an Alpine lockout into turn 1. Nothing ever goes wrong in turn 1. Gonna rock hard just in case. You're going rock hard. Bro's bricked up. See, whenever I'm picking tires, I always say, like, let me go with the mediums, because, like, that way if there's a safety car early, I'll just rock the hards. I legit got pole 3 times. Every one time I'm out of the points. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of sounds like a skill issue. I started P12 and won. That was all luck, no skill. Whole grid's on meds. Mediums, I want to be different. There was 2 other drivers not on mediums. I want to say it was you were on hards. Somebody else near the back, and then there was 2 people with a hard on and one with a softy. Was it heavy, wet? I picked Inters and cooked. Inters are always the better tire than wet. That's what I've been told. Ferrari hards, Williams soft. Yeah, that sounds about right. Soft Willy. Time for the French to win. Okay. I'm sure you guys will be more than capable of doing something. I would like you to win though, Crin. Pole start and then first place finish would be phenomenal. And hopefully reel in some of those points that Fanta's got ahead on the standings, which we'll take another look at. So where are you guys on the standings? You're all the way down in 17th. What on earth? How are you getting pole? And then there's just what? Is that 3 DNFs? Going to be an Italian British 1-2 in the French. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I can tolerate that. Inters are almost always best in the wet, unless it's monsoon levels of rain. Agreed. Yeah, Corinne, you've got your work cut out for you here if you want to try and make up any kind of points. You're all the way down in 17th. But you've got to win. I don't... Wow. That's crazy. 3 DNFs. Guessing those are 10th places. I'm guessing points stop at 10 in GRL. I'm here to help Tulo. Oh, it goes all the way to 15th. That's nice. I prefer leagues that do it that way. It's like... Rich says he's underperforming. Are you? Where's Rich? Rich. No, you're in 5th. What are you on about underperforming? That's not bad. You've even got a win. Is Baku coming up on the calendar? Because that's one of the tracks that I didn't drive before I practiced it for a race, and I just got on well with it. No Baku. Oh. The only street track was Singapore. Oh my god. Wait, does that mean that next week's race is a full race, like 50 plus lap, or like double what it is currently? I got pole at Singapore. Yeah, it's 100%. Hey, that's gonna be like 3 hours. Or maybe not 3 hours, but like still, that's fucking long. I'm not doing commentary on next week's one. Screw that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Shit, at this rate, I might even not have time for this, bro. It's been an hour. No one's gonna show up. Oh my god. Yeah, like a full race? Honestly, like rather than a full race, I'd prefer like 4 or 5 progressive 5-lappers. You know, like where you do a quali on, I don't know, Monaco, and then you do a race with the grid quali from Monaco. You do a 5-lapper on fucking, I don't know, Spa, and then you take whatever the finishes was at Spa and you move over to Kota and then you do a 5-lapper there. Like, you know, I'd prefer that before a full race. 100% races are fun. Strategy actually matters more. Yeah, but it's just so much time. From a time point of view, that's like so long. I certainly couldn't do commentary for that long. Like even just on the half races, like there's gaps in the field and there's just nothing happening. A bit like Miami usually is, not like this weekend's Miami. God, what a race that was. Don't be a wuss, Scones. Dude. Half the time I have to big myself up for these races. Sorry, stream, for the lobby issue. That's all good. They saw that it was bugged. It's lights out and we don't go anywhere. All right, so I believe it'll be 55. There we go. So we still got about a minute and a half or so. We should, just for fun. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to in this other league, which I never mention if I'm doing a GRL league, but this other league that I'm in, we're doing main mystery month at the moment. So yesterday was we did quali at Portugal, which I'd never driven before, and then all the fastest people got put in the slowest cars because after that they put realistic performance on, and it was eventful. There was an Alpine win with like a massive gap. My race didn't go well. I didn't do the Red Bull any justice. But like, there's all kinds of things coming, like reverse grids. I don't know. The guy who's organizing it said he's just kind of gonna go like freestyle as he decides what to do. He's just gonna do it. That Red Bull did not finish well. No, it did not. Just make sure you have a can of Monster during the race and a bottle of whiskey for after. Oh, just the thought of doing a 100% race like makes me feel tired, man. Let's go into the Perez impersonator. Yeah, that's fair actually, because the person in the other Red Bull ended up like P2 or 3. And I was all the way in P11. Ah, but that's kind of like Max and Sonoda. Come on, give me some credit. I did also have a couple things go wrong. Pitted, had the wrong tire, ended up with wing damage, so I had to pit stop twice, but we're redoing the formation lap now. Hopefully this one goes according to plan. So, predictions are for Crin. Oh, there it is. There's the eventful thing that was going to happen with the Alpine, so that's out the way. So now we're guaranteed an Alpine 1-2. I wonder if his confidence is shaken or if he's just a bit annoyed at the probably 30-minute delayed start here. Oh, and what on earth is going on with Crin? Has he picked up damage from that? I can't tell. I can't tell if he's missing his part of his wing. You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Ow! Hopefully the only thing that's damaged is his pride. But the Alpine does appear to be all in one piece. Which reminds me. Put the tire, telemetry, lap data, all of that on. And I'll turn it off at my discretion throughout the race. So Iceman and Rich, the only drivers on hard tires. Everybody else opting for the mediums. It is an Alpine lockout. Looking to go into turn 1. All right. All right, finally. Here we go. And with that, it's lights out and away we go. The Iceman picking up a jump start penalty. He needs to do a drive-through coming into turn 1. Fanta making up some positions here. Corinne staying in first place. Tweaky Scorpion falls all the way down to 4th. Fanta up to 2nd. Brain Core looking in the V-Carb up to P3 now. A lot of position changes happen in the mid and late field. AJ Reeve down to 19th now. But that should be it for the initial, as Fanta looking to try and make a lunge through the S's section. Has a tighter line. Beautifully defended by Corinne here. As we come to the left hour, surely you're going to see a lunge from Fanta, but Corinne's probably going to try and defend the inside. Nope, we keep it clean, nice and tidy. Bit of contact there from Tweaky Scorpion on the rear of Brain Core. And if we just take a little look down, all of it, I've managed to miss Fanta getting ahead of Corinne off of that DRS straight as they go side by side now. Corinne's looking to try and get that position back, fighting, gets the inside line in the next corner. We'll get the following one as well, but Brain Core potentially trying to get a nice little picking up of the scraps there. Loses out, but Tweaky Scorpion into the rear there. And Reese up to P4. Tweaky Scorpion falling all the way back down to 5th. Did not see any damage on that Alpine of Tweaky Scorpion. Brain Core up to P3. Giles getting ahead of the Iceman, who obviously does have that penalty. Goes wide there. Gets pushed off the track a little bit. Iceman looking to try and get a lunge down the inside. No, he's in the pits. Probably going to try and serve that drive-through nice and early on the track now. Reese up to P3 ahead of Brain Core as they're looking to go side by side in turn 1 now. Brain Core gets the inside line. He's going to have the better exit. Brain Core seems to have executed that beautifully up to P3 now. Reese back into P4. Tweaky Scorpion spectating from the sidelines in P5 as they make their way through the S section. A bit of a gap forming there. Ren open up the gap to 9/10. Gonna want to try and find that extra 2/100th of a second. Fanta picking up a 3-second penalty for his efforts, which gives Corinne all of the advantage now. Full second ahead, but will he maintain that coming to the DRS zone? I believe he will have, so Fanta should not be able to get DRS down straight here, which leaves him a sitting duck for Brain Core. Could be looking to make the move down the inside of the following corner after the DRS straight here. He won't have the legs for it, but neither will Reese. Just behind Brain Core there. Tweaky Scorpion still down in 5th. RF1, the back of the pack there, as he's trailing 7/10 behind Tweaky Scorpion. And fairly uneventful, other than the Iceman's jump start. But Brent has managed to allow Fanta come right on back in. He's opened the door for him. May as well make him dinner and let him fuck you on the table, man. He had the breakaway, threw it all the way. Brain Core with the fastest lap in the V-Carb. And now it's down to F1 Brewster with the fastest lap all the way down in P11. We'll still get points. Brain Core and F1 and Fanta go for a bit of a scuffle in turn 1, but now Brain Core fighting for that second position with Fanta as they go side by side through the S sections. Brain Core coming out on top. Iceman looking to pick up the scraps there, moving up to P3, but is he going to have the inside line? He will. He's going to try and get ahead of Fanta. Not a whole lot happening there, but they play it safe. I imagine Fanta's not too happy. Was P2, now down to P4. And the only driver with a 3-second penalty. As Brewster getting ahead of Civic. A little bit of contact there. Wheel-to-wheel action. Oh no! Fanta and Tweaky Scorpion had a bit of it coming together. Both drivers losing out fairly massively as El Calico getting ahead of 8 Giles. That's Reese, not Iceman. My mistake. So much has been happening. I keep forgetting Iceman's all the way down in P20. Brand Core now getting ahead of Reese, not Iceman. Reese. And Corinne really needs to capitalize on the battle happening behind him because Reese's trying to take a little look on the inside, but gets kind of closed shut on him. Now he's losing now massively down to P4. Tweaky Scorpion up to P3. So very ambitious move there from Reese. But had it worked, he could have been the race leader, so it's understandable why he potentially wanted to go for that. But Reese definitely going to be looking for an overtake on the Alpine driver. And whether or not we'll see a lunge from Braden Core, he's looking to try and take the inside line. Oh, they go side by side for a second there. I thought Corinne was going to try and look for a switchback, but Reese now up to P3 gets overtake on Tweaky Scorpion. They go through the S's section now. Brain Core. Follow each other blindly now through the S's section. We take a look. He does have a healthy amount of ERS to try and defend on that section. Certainly more than Brain Core. So, I wonder if the smart move might be to try and just let one of those drivers get ahead and try and DRS swap with them and guarantee a better position. Obviously, if Tweaky Scorpion was there, might be a different story, but Fanta now moving back up to P4 after he lost out a little bit there. And E. Giles, his teammate, just down in P6, 2 positions behind Tweaky Scorpion in P5. Needs to try and fight his way back up to P2. Beautiful overtake there. Absolutely textbook from Brain Core. But Kryn will be looking to try and get that position back. Brain Core saying, I'm not just keeping it warm for you, buddy. It's mine now. Oh, come on, man. What am I doing? Oh, we've got a caution. Rich with a 3-second penalty. The second driver to offend, third driver to offend, I should say. AJ Reed obviously missed his penalty there. But Kryn now still in P2. Tweaky Scorpion falling all the way down to P6. But could we see a bit of teamwork from Fanta and Giles? Giles is training a little bit on those medium tires. 5 laps in. Still plenty of life left in them some bitches. Brewster now getting ahead of Calico. BT, latest driver to offend the track limits. So if Kryn can get a super clean move done here before the DRS straight, seems to have gotten a better exit. Seems to have the pace. Brain Core does not have the ERS to defend. Oh my goodness, Reese now picking up the scraps up to P2. Oh my goodness, and Fanta trying to make it a meal as he was trying to get P3 at the same time, but was unable to get ahead there. And Reese now up to P2, Brain Core just behind in P3. This front pack is really getting their elbows out, fighting with each other. Reese now in P1 for the first time in this race as Kryn looking to maintain that lead. Has a healthy amount of ERS coming up for the straight to defend. Reese also has a healthy amount of ERS, so it'll be interesting to see if Reese tries to get the breakaway in turn 1. And whether or not Kryn can defend remains to be seen. But E. Giles now ahead of his teammate, Fanta. But Brewster saying, hey, look at me. Don't forget about me. As Kryn tries to take the inside line, but Reese trying to get a switchback going on there. So Brewster now in between the two Saubers coming into the S section. But it is really nice because currently almost all the cars are within DRS of each other. All the way down to P13 with RJ bringing up the rear of the pack. Civic is not having a good time with his setup. Obviously, we saw him spin with his attempt on a qualifying lap. So, him sitting all the way down in P10 seems to be struggling with the rear of the car a little bit. I'm sure he's not too impressed with the setups they've chosen here, as Reese gets ahead of Kryn. Now, if they were smart, they'd try and work together, just get away from the rest of the pack, but that's not going to be easy to do, because I'm sure Brain Core will have something to say about that. They need to remember, the more they fight now, the more the rest of the pack keeps up with them, the less chance they have of ensuring a podium. And I mean, if we want to talk about a fall from grace, we could talk about Tweaky Scorpion, start at P2, down to P7. Be interesting to see if he can pull a rabbit out of the hat and work his way back onto a podium. But Reese, the current race leader, as he's going to take the inside line. Can we see a switchback here? No, they go side by side. But who's got the better exit? Because now Reese's going to have the inside coming into the S's section. Kryn fighting tooth and nail. He wants that position back bad. He earned it in quali. He's got that center throttle going, vop, 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 vop. So he's ready and rearing to get going. Oh, very ambitious. He seems pissed off. He seems very pissed off. Making contact, just a little kiss with the exhaust tip. Just a tip. On Reese's Ferrari. That Scuderia Ferrari right there. As Kryn gonna get ahead. Executes the move. Brain Core looking to close that gap a little bit now. And Reese is sitting duck, but he's going to try maybe make a move on the inside. He does. Contact made a little bit there. Kryn potentially could have left a little bit more space. However, Reese, I don't believe, was entitled to the corner. AJ Reed with a 3-second penalty there. We'll take a look at the penalties and where they sit and stand. BT and AJ Reed with the 6-second penalties. Tweaky Scorpion with a beautiful overtake on Giles, but Giles fighting for position tooth and nail. He wants that position back. So we'll just leave the penalties up for a moment. We'll go back to none. And around lap 10, I'll put the tires back on for everybody to see, because I know a few people do engineer for other drivers. But Tweaky Scorpion does not seem to have the pace his teammate does, currently in P1. But is Reese going to be able to make a meal out of this? And could we see Brain Core trying to pick up a few scraps as Reese takes the inside line? Brain goes a little bit wide, but is going to be first into the S's section. The more they fight, the more the drivers behind love to see it. Eat Giles now getting ahead of Tweaky Scorpion into the S's section. And Reese picking up a 3-second penalty. Unfortunately, that will most likely close out any hopes he had of winning the race. And Kryn knows it. Now, Kryn, if you're listening, don't fight the man. Work with him. Get away from the rest of the field. You're going to ensure a win, man. That's big points right there, man. Don't fight it. The drivers in P3 and 4 are also battling. So Reese gonna get ahead. Could we see a switchback here from Kryn as he turns in? No, not quite the pace for a switchback, but Brewster saying hello. Haven't seen much of him up this far in the race, but he's up to P3 now. Tweaky Scorpion was P2, now down to P7. Fana and E. Giles 5th and 6th respectively have a front row seat to this little pack going on in the front here. The front 4 runners battling for those podiums, and Fana licking his lips, tantalizing at the thought. Getting to sip some of that sweet, sweet post-race champagne on the podium. And E. Giles, obviously the team principal for Kick Sauber, doing well here. I'd love to see Zach Brown getting into a McLaren and race Max, but we've got Kryn with a nice move down the inside. They seem to be just swapping positions regularly, lap by lap. But we've got Brewster trying to make a move on the Ferrari of Reese. Backs out last minute and falls in line coming into the X's section. Seems to be carrying quite a bit more pace than Reese is. Reese slightly sloppy through there. Fana with a 3-second penalty now for track limits. Might be a good idea to just try and give your teammate a bit of a tow. And Tweaky Scorpion now with a 3-second penalty. That is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. More than half the drivers with penalties. What on earth was Brewster thinking? Basically forced Reese off the track. Crin, now's your chance, man. Get the fuck away. They've been battling like madmen out there. This is your chance to get the fuck away and win the race guaranteed. Both drivers behind you have penalties. Stop waiting for them. Just drive, man. They're closing the gap on you while fighting each other. You gotta get the fuck out of Dodge, man. Quite the eventful race, especially for these front 6 cars or so. But we'll take a little look at further back on the field. We've got Kaliko closing out the last of the train that's going on here, unless Art can potentially close that gap, and he does. Now down to 9/10. Was it? He will not have DRS. That's going to leave Art all the way down in P10. No man's land, playing with himself. But Rick and Rich both have penalties in the papaya. Oh my! That is very unfortunate for Rick. Makes contact with his teammate now. Acker Flasher, right around where I said he would be. Hey, what's up, Benny FC? How you doing, man? Let's go, Cran. Yeah, we're rooting for him, man. We're trying. And don't worry, this isn't my usual accent. I'm doing American because it's Texas. And, yeah, this is my exceptionally bad impression of an American accent. But Crin's doing well, but he's had a couple opportunities to try and get away from the field when they've been battling, but he has not capitalized on it. And Brewster's got some menacing pace on him. Oh, Reese with a dive down the inside of Brewster up to P2. Now, see, this is what I mean. Now, this could have been Crin's gap to try and get away from these 2 cars, but he just doesn't seem to have that sector 3 pace like the other cars do. I mean, they're literally fighting tooth and nail with each other. And Crin's barely getting like half a tenth on them. At a time. Not a bad accent, to be fair. Oh, I appreciate that, man. It's all love. But Crin's doing well. His teammates all the way down to P7 has picked up a 3-second penalty. We got a few people going into the pits. We got Brewster and Brain Core looking to try and make an undercut here. 17 laps is a bit of an well, not really a bit of an ask for the hard tires. But judging what we saw from the McLaren's last lap, I don't think a safety car is out of the question. So quite a few drivers out in the pit now here on lap 11 would have been lap 10 that they went in. And we'll get that tire data up for anybody doing engineering for some of the drivers. BT on the soft tire. What on earth? In what world is soft tires the right call for that? Couldn't be me, man. Couldn't be me. AJ Reeve on 7-lap old hard tires, bringing up the rear of the pack in P20. PT picking up a time penalty. Unfortunately, P19 in the Williams. And we'll just change that over to penalties so you can see what everybody's got. Rin currently keeping his nose clean of all penalties, which is great to see. F1 Brewster up to 6 seconds of penalties, which is unfortunate, but you know, you do the time, you do the crime and all that. Get the tire back on for a couple laps, just so anybody doing engineering for drivers. Giles did not need that gap to open up. Man is now under pressure. BT running a Ferrari Prime Strat. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he put on inters. I can't lie, man. Yeah, so Giles had kind of backed out from the push there. You know what? All the battling that Reese and Brewster are doing could potentially work in Tweaky Scorpion's favor. I think those medium tires are just about done now, man. I don't see how much life they could potentially have left in them. But Rich could be the race leader briefly. So it would not be his true position, as he is yet to pit. Man, it's so crazy to me that in the same division, like This is people that the league have said are around the same level of skill. That like the front 5 or 6 just do immense racing, and then like the rest of the field seems super inconsistent. Like, look at the front 3 right now, man. Massive gap to the P4. See, I think Sector 3 is just not a good one for Kryn. He seems to do pretty well in Sector 1 and 2. But even battling, these guys seem to be significantly faster. 3 Sector 3. And all 3 now coming into the pit, so the pressure will be on for Kryn. The second he gets out, he needs to absolutely nail this pit stop. But Tweaky Scorpion avoiding the double stack now. Gonna do an extra lap on these medium tires, which I suspect should be just about cooked now. You can see him losing a bit of traction there. Brain Core with the current fast lap. No penalties for him. AJ Reeve with the latest track limits warning. Not having a good time with those preset setups. RJ looking to try and reel in DMB super scales. It's Aston Martin versus 2 V-Carbs. He is in a V-Carb sandwich currently. But will the DRS, that's one hell of an undercut for Bray. That's if it works out. Kryn is only just a little bit behind. Brain Core making a massive lunge down both drivers down the inside. Bandit picking up some of the leftovers, picks up a couple of scraps, but now has to contend with DMB super skills. Not both drivers, silly me, it was only one car. But it looked like he might just get ahead. But Kryn getting ahead of DMB super skills. Brewster will be next to try and do it. RJ with a 3-second penalty in the Aston Martin. So Rich, your current race leader, not his true position on track, he'll be looking to pit in the next sort of 3 or 4 laps. Eat Giles on the hard tires with the new fastest lap, so he's got the pace. But Brain Core is your actual race leader, as Rich was one of the few people that decided to start on the hard tire. Obviously, Iceman, the other driver, opted to go for the hard tires. So this is your current race leader, and the battle for first is between Brain Core, Fana, and Kryn, as well as Brewster and Reese. But massive gap from Brewster to Kryn, so it'll be these 3 drivers right here. Fana, Brain Core, and Kryn in contention for first place. But Brain Core does not have a penalty, whereas Fana does, so still anybody's race to lose, really, other than Kryn and Brain Core will be the 2 contenders for that position. But Fana making a move down the inside, coming off the DRS straight. They go side by side, and Kryn looking to try and pick up some of those table scraps, and he does. Just about not forced to take the outside line. They are tight. They are tight. So, Rich and Iceman, the only drivers yet to pit. Everybody else on largely the same tire. So, unless it's asked for, I'm going to now turn telemetry and tire data off. Just to try and help the viewing experience for anybody. So if it's asked for, I will 100% turn it back on, but for now. Oh, this could be huge for Brain Core, depending on whether he gets ahead of Rich before or after the DRS timing line. Tweaky Scorpion, the latest offender for track limits. I think Brain Core really does want to stay behind Rich here and get that DRS to defend. I think he's going for better exit as he pulls off a textbook switchback. Rich trying beautifully to defend as he forces Vanna way off to the left there, but can we see a move from Vanna? No, he's going to play it safe, just get in behind. However, Corinne with a move down the inside of Rich. Oh, something's happened. BT is gone straight into the wall, not retired. Does not appear to be a safety car, so something's definitely gone absolutely wrong for BT there. You know, these three have definitely put on a hell of an entertaining show for everybody watching here. They're doing a damn fine job. Oh, Corinne absolutely chomping at the bit to try and get ahead of Fana. Fana now looking to take the inside line. Could be, oh, okay. So, Corinne and Fana. Oh, please don't go and give Bray and Core just a free win. Kind of want Corinne to win. I'm not saying I don't like Bray and Core, but after looking at his results sheet, Corinne kind of deserves the win after all the bullshit he's had to put up with this season. Hey man, I just finished a Division 4 race. How have you been doing accident the whole time? Just for the race. Only for the race, man. Some pretty entertaining racing here, I will say. We had quite a few technical difficulties, so we didn't actually start till quite late. Hey Mike, you want to join me for co-commentary for the last 12 laps? Exhibit, the latest offender for track limits. That seems to be happening a hell of a lot. Ray and Core now looking to try and go down the inside of turn 1, as does Corinne, but he's not going to get as good of an exit as Fana, as he's forced to take the outside line now, coming to the S's section. His line is way off, going to be losing a lot of pace. Fana picking up yet another 3-second penalty. That's 6 seconds of penalty for Fana. And you can just tell Corinne is unhappy as hell. He looks upset, man. And AJ Reeve has retired from the session. Ooh, absolute wheel-to-wheel action. Basically just handing Braden Core that place as the gap opens up to 9/10. If I'm being totally honest, I think it's a little bit of a dick move for Fana to defend as hard as he is for a position he won't get anyway. Fana doesn't believe in corners. Yeah, I'm getting that. Like, I do think it's a dick move. He doesn't need to defend this hard, man. Like, he's got 6 seconds of penalties, man. Track limits are just a suggestion to this guy. I'm not sure if I can do comms. If I do, I will not be doing an accent. That's all good, buddy, but you let me know what you want to do, and we can for sure get you in for the last 12 laps if you want to. 10 laps now. Yes, Corinne, make him fucking work for it, man. You got this. Get in there into turn 1. Gets nudged by Fana. No! That is some absolute horseshit. I would be appealing that ASAP to the officials, man. Get that 3-second removed. We've got it on camera right here. You got nudged off track, man. Now, man, Man, Corinne was telling me before the race, this is all that happens to him. He qualifies pole, and he just fucking just gets the most amount of bullshit done to him, man. Like right there, you saw turn one, a nudge from Fanta, he went wide, boom, track limits pan. So 100% worth appealing because of that. I don't have anything to drink, but I can stretch. You won't be able to see it. I guess you can if I do this. I'll do a nice big stretch for y'all, right? You can't hear it, but my back clicked like 3 times. It was great. So we're back on board with Corinne. Coming in the last 2 corners. 10 laps to go. Ostracek, oh man, I always slouch. I gotta remove that one. Is Corinne gonna have a little look down the inside? Do we see a switchback from Braden Core? We do. He gets a pretty good exit, but he's gonna be on the outside coming to the SS section now. Oh, Corinne, you shook him a little bit there. So just keep it clean. Rich with the fastest lap in the McLaren. Man, I didn't expect to have to be talking for this long. My mouth's so dry. My drink's finished. Braden Core now down to the RS straight. Makes a move from the inside, locking Corinne on the outside. Could we see a potential attempt to switch back? No, they go side by side. Corinne's got a slightly better exit, but could see a switchback from Braden Core here. Hasn't quite got the legs to make it stick, though. Reese out of nowhere. Just managed to catch up as we got the entertaining 5 drivers all within DRS of each other. E. Giles almost closing that gap to Brewster in P5. And we got a yellow flag out. Doesn't appear to be anything too wrong on the minimap. But Corinne gets an absolutely horrendous exit and is going to lose out massively here. Could even see Fanta from way back make a lunge into turn 1, but Reese's trying to go down the inside of Fanta. Fanta down the inside of Corinne. They go 3 wide into turn 1. Oh my God. Oh my God. When I say I am shooketh to the bone, what in the absolute deep fried fat fuck was that? That was ambitious as fuck, and that was never going to work. I'm sorry. There's no way you're going 3 wide into turn 1. It works out for anybody involved, all right? Never going to work. And now poor Corinne all the way down in P6. Braden Core gets handed the win. Absolute total bullshit. This man is cursed. This man's cursed. Get him like a witch doctor or something. This man's cursed, man. Yeah. So Corinne says my controller died and then Fanta murdered me. Yeah, I don't know. That was some absolute bullshit. I wish I had that like instant replay button. I gotta figure that shit out because that would be great to watch again while I've got a safety car going. Reese speeding to pit lane, naughty, naughty boy. D. Summers has a replay button. Hopefully he can tell us how he does it. Yeah, I need that. I need that. Send me a message and I'll try to figure that shit out because I need that shit in my life. Is anybody able to clip that clip? Oh, sweet. You've just seen it. I'll set it up for next time I do a stream for sure, for sure. So, for the first time in this race, we've got an Aston Martin leading the race. See what I did there? Yeah, I appreciate that, D. Summers, man. I really do. I'm definitely gonna get that in for next time I do a stream. Get that instant replay button. I need that shit. That would have been perfect right there. Wait, is that two 10-second penalties that Reese's now got? What in the hell? Reese with 26 seconds of penalties. Oh my god. Oh, congrats, Mike. P14 to P5. That's 9 places. That's like driver of the day material right there. Unbelievable that Reese now has... My god, look at all these penalties. 12 seconds, 12 seconds, 16. There's like 3 drivers with no penalties. Briancore, El Calico. And with the safety car this late? If Calico has the pace to stay within 3 seconds of drivers ahead of him, he's like guaranteed a podium here. So, the man with the potential podium right here, El Calico. Well, just switch from penalties to tires for anybody doing engineering for the drivers. Able to let their drivers know what every other driver's going on, because every driver has pitted. Brain Core currently leading the race and should be able to win it. Definitely has the pace to do it. We've seen him do some quick things today. Very unfortunate, though, for Ren. Lucky to come out of that scuffle and still be in P4. So he's guaranteed second. No, I'm pretty sure he can get that penalty appealed and get second place. Yeah, American joke about the SMR. It had to be done. Only a few brave enough to try the softs. Let's see how they get on. I mean, it is a bit of a stretch. What's it going to be like? 5, 6 laps? 5 laps. All right. So lap 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 5 laps. It's not unheard of, but... Oh my god. Racy. Brother. 26 seconds of penalties. I swear you just had that a second ago. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. They overheat massively in the S section. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out for all drivers involved. So by the end of the race, those will be 7 to 8 lap old hards. the sheer amount of penalties. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I thought Qatar was a penalty magnet, but apparently Coda is where all the penalties have been hiding. Somebody explain to me, how do you get a 3-second under safety car? Still not as many as Paddy Penguin Qatar. Yeah, we don't talk about that. It's absolutely crazy. It's just penalties as far as the eye can see. So, almost everybody on the mediums, with the exception of BT, Rich, and Rick. I'm sure AJ Reed kind of regretting his decision to retire now, as he would have been in the running, despite his, I think it was like 6 or 9 seconds of penalties, but he could have been in the mix here. Would have gained 1, 2, 3 positions right there. Could have put him in the points, potentially. So, we'll take a quick look at the biggest losers and winners so far. Tweaky Scorpion losing 10 places, Reese losing 13. And the biggest gainers, Act Flasher up to P8, gaining 12. Brewster gaining 8. Brain Core and E. Giles both gaining 3 respectively. Jeremy gaining 6. The highest boss going to be real proud of that one, but we're getting ready to restart. On board with Brain Core, who's got a massive restart here. But Brewster looking to try and close that gap. E. Giles now up to P3. Well, he was P3 on the restart, but Kryn will be trying to get his way back onto the podium after being the pole sitter and leading for quite a bit of the race. Sad to see him all the way back in P4, but his teammate all the way back in P12, so things could be worse. Already half a lap in, massive gaps opening up all the way down in P13. RJ struggling with the pace of Tweaky Scorpion. Gonna have to work if he wants that DRS coming onto the main straight. But Brain Core 7/10 ahead of Brewster, who's looking to try and close that gap using his DRS. But Kryn a little bit too far behind to try and make a dive here. We'll see a bit of a pattern and rhythm form back up in just a bit. Take a look at some of the drivers a little bit further back. DMB Super Scales. Braylon RJ, but Rich and the Iceman in a bit of a battle. Iceman coming up on top. And Civet, the man who's been struggling with the rear end of that Aston Martin all day long. Brain Core setting a new fastest lap. McLaren and Ferrari have a bit of a scuffle. Civet, the biggest gainer out of that, up to P13 now, but Brewster and E. Giles Giles getting up to P3. If you're Kryn, you have to be absolutely seething at this point with the amount of bullshit you've had to deal with so far this race. I think we can say that with the way he's swerving, really getting in on the rear end of E. Giles here. I think he's just really wanting to get ahead. Kryn, if you're listening, man, I'm confident you can get that penalty appealed. That's a guaranteed P2. You're fighting where you don't need to be fighting, man. And Rich, the latest offender, we'll just take one more quick look at these penalties because there are so many of them. 12 seconds for Rich, as he's had obviously a bit of a scuffle with that Ferrari. Jeremy out of nowhere up to P5 now. And El Calico managed to stay right around the 3-second mark. There's a chance of him getting on a podium here. Potentially, but the gap might be a little bit too wide. But only driver in the top 10 to not have a penalty, with the exception of our current race leader, Brain Core, who's managed to run away with it and has managed to escape the clutches of DRS for Brewster and Giles, as well as Kryn. Bryn is doing what he needs to increase. He already has other warnings after the pan. That is true. That is true. That's a fair point. Through the Estes section. He is right up close and personal with the rear end as he's trying to make a bit of a move here. Very brave, but he will get the inside line here. Rich getting a 10-second penalty. He has to go wide off the track. It's not really going to help his case if you look to get that penalty removed. Coming on to the DRS section now. He'll be way out of the DRS for Brewster, and Giles could potentially make a lunge on that left-hander after the DRS section, but Jeremy up to P5. Got a yellow flag as Civet, we were saying he was struggling with that rear end all day long, and that has now been shown once again as he's fallen all the way down to P17. I believe he was P13 before. And Corinne buys himself just a little bit of breathing room from the kick Sauber. Brewster trying to reel in Brain Core, but it may be too little too late, I'm afraid. The gap still being 1.3 seconds, 1.4. So, barring any major screw-ups, Brain Core will be the race winner. But you know what? Kaliko could be sneaking himself onto the grid here. Onto the podium, I should say. Not onto the grid. He's on the grid. Civet needs to stop eating cheese. It's giving him issues with his rear end. It just seems to be all over the place, man. Nice and messy. And Rich has retired in the pits. So, Civet, I wonder if there was contact there that maybe happened. Brand trying desperately to get back within a second of Brewster. Indian Goat in the chat saying I was so close to the P5 and got P6. Michael got the P5. Yeah, unfortunately, Indian Goat, if you promise a certain position, that's non-transferable. You have to get it, not a friend of mine. I got wing damage, lap 1, race was over. I hate this division. People can't keep it clean. I mean, it's been looking pretty sloppy, to be honest with you, Rich, man. Like, look at these penalties, man. I can't say that I've seen anything quite like it before. I'm not a particularly skilled driver, but, like, it is outrageous for me to see penalties like that. Hey, give me a break, Hillbilly. I qualified 16th. Yeah, and Michael qualified 14th, and he got the P5, so stop complaining. To be fair, everyone has a bad setup. I mean, yeah. But then you got drivers like Kaliko. I think he's going to be just shy of a podium here. No. Pardon my French. I think he could actually have a podium. A little bit too far for it to be a P2. But as we close out the 28th lap, I think he's close enough to get a podium. Sneaking on. But Brain Core now has Brewster just a little bit behind. And could we see a late move from Kryn? I think he's trying desperately. Trailing by 2/10. But we will go wide camera with the race leader as he makes his way across the line. And Kryn and Brewster not too far behind. Kaliko and Giles both making their way onto the podium out of nowhere, seemingly. That'll be huge for E. Giles and Kaliko. And that will be it. The only two drivers yet to cross the line is the Williams of BT and the Aston Martin of SKG Civic, who has been struggling. We saw in qualifying, he spun a couple times. That seemed very unnecessary. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I believe that will round us off here at COTA for GRL Division 5. As the last two drivers now cross the line. And congratulations to the race winner, Brian Kaur and El Calico and Eat Giles for their podiums here this evening. Seemed to come from absolutely nowhere, sneaking onto the podium there. BT on a Sunday drive and Civic being the angry Karen that crashes into him. It did seem a little bit unnecessary. But that will be it from me this evening, and I will just find somebody for us to raid once I figure out how. I think you gotta go here somewhere. Channel. Create a dashboard, and then you gotta hit raid. There's a button to do it somewhere. Stream manager. So I will just pop this screen back on. To make sure, yeah, Corinne, definitely appeal that 3-second penalty that you received. And I'll just quickly get the race director. Incidents. Or not, my game crashed. Cool. It's whatever, apparently. Sweet. Cool. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining. We'll find somebody to raid here this evening. We will raid RPF. And thank you very much. And have a lovely evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you for sticking with us despite the delays. And we will catch you all next week.